Um, Good morning, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Work Clearance Management webinar. Today, we are going to check out the SAP Work Permit Management and share with you how this solution brings safety to life of people within your plants. Let me quickly introduce myself. My name is James Rabe Manansua. I am an ORM consultant, and I have 8 years experience in EAM. Since the last 5 years, I work only on work clearance management and operational risk management. Mark, I let you to present yourself.
Thank you, James. My name is Mark Jansen. I currently work as a SAP Principal Consultant, and I have approximately 15 years experience within SAP, and then mainly in plant maintenance and customer service. And together with those two modules, I also worked a lot with work clearance management and also MRS. Back to James.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, so let's go. Here is our agenda of today. So we start the part one with a smart introduction. Then we will go to the part two where we will see the solution overview. Then we will show you in the part three, you will discover the 6 key functions that make SAP Work Permit Management as the best choice to cover your plant safety requirements. In the part 4, you will follow an end-to-end demo in SAP, and we will end up the session with the QA. So please, if you have any question, please just use the tools on your screen and write the question through the message. Thank you. Okay, so let's go to the part one. So in this presentation, let us try to understand first why the work permit is so important and critical. So the good point to start to that is to have a look quickly to the statistics and how to make a relation with that to the work permit system. And we will try to find out in this introduction how is the proportion of accident that is related to the work permit system. So first of all, in this slide, we want to catch your attention on the likely consequence of an inadequate or non-existent safety process. The upcoming question is, what might happen if you don't establish an effective safety process to control your maintenance works? So this first picture on the left is extensively used in any SAP Work Clearance Management training or presentation or workshop, because this picture brings a very clear message that everyone can understand. I'm totally sure that no one wants to get the place of the guy which is get electrocution. In this picture, we don't see any safety sign. There is no isolation tag while someone is doing work on the equipment. As principle, in order to bring safety to the workplace, people should get the right information shown on the right place and at the right time. So here, the consequence of the missing information is this kind of accident. In this second picture, you know very well the Piper Alpha accident that happened in the North Sea on July 1988, where 167 men was killed. This disaster, after the investigation, was due to a communication defect on the work permit process. So this is one of the kind of consequences when you don't have a safety process in your plant. Now let's go have a look on statistics. Okay, so this statistic is from Norway, oil and gas platform, offshore platform, and we can see here for the maintenance and construction related injuries that 59% is due to maintenance and construction for an average 161 injuries per year. So we can say, if you just take an assumption 50-50, that 30% of the injuries is related to maintenance. This is another statistics from UK, from the UK Health and Safety Executive. And this is still related to the oil and gas and to the maintenance and construction. So here, on 2014, 44% of injuries are related to maintenance and construction. So if we just make an assumption of a 50-50, then we can say, we can assume 20% of maintenance is related to injuries among 150 on 2014. Now, this another statistic is from Eurostat. Here we are going to see the cross-industry sector statistics. And here the figures is only related to maintenance. So, for example, from Belgium, from 2005 to 2006, 19 to 21% of incidents are related to maintenance. From Finland, 18 to 90%. From Spain, 14 to 17%. And from Italy, 10 to 14. So here we have seen in the last slide that from the oil and gas platforms, we can take an assumption of 22 to 30%, which is caused by maintenance, which is a big proportion. From the cross-industry sectors, we have seen that 10 to 21% is coming of incidents are related to maintenance. Now, what kind of cause? What is the different cause that may? What's the different cause for the in the maintenance side? The first thing is we can have let's say a defect on the way of preparing and hand over the equipment to maintenance. So that is the work permit. The other cause might be the defect on the way of carrying out maintenance tasks, and that is more related to the job hazard analysis. And the last one is the lack of communication during the process, and this last one is mostly related to the work permit process. Now, the upcoming question is how to improve and what to improve. So usually in the quality safety procedure, we learn from the lesson learned. We look on the feedback on the process, and from the lesson learned, we try to update, improve the safety procedures, but that improvement is more better if it is supported by an electronic work permit system. Now let's have a look on the safety procedures and see the solution overview in the area of SAP. Whenever we talk about occupational health and safety in the industry, the first upcoming question is how to bring safety to life of people at work. Typically, most of countries' regulations impose each company to put in place the necessary procedures to ensure a safe working condition for workers. There are many kinds of procedures, but today we are only interested to 1, 2, or 3 of them. The first one is the permit to work, which is mainly used in the Commonwealth, the job hazard analysis, the safe system of work, the control of work, which is more in the area of oil and gas, the work clearance, which is more in the area of utility, the job safety analysis, and the safe work permit. Here, all these safety procedures, the target of all these safety procedures is to establish a safe working condition to personnel. Now, this is the safety procedures, and SAP have a solution to cover all these safety procedures. So the name of this solution is SAP Operational Risk Management. So what does SAP Operational Risk Management contain? The first one is the SAP Work Permit Management, which is part of the work clearance management. The second one is in the SAP Work Permit Management, you will be able to manage the request of permit, the implementation of safety precautions, the approval, the lockout, tagout. In the HSM risk assessment, you will be able to assess risk on the workplace and to carry out the job hazard analysis. And the last one is the worker safety. So the worker safety is the management of risk and safety measures inside the work order and the task list. And the best of all is that SAP provides full native integration between those 3 components of the SAP Operational Risk Management solution. Today, we will focus only on the SAP Work Permit Management. This is a typical example of a work permit process without maintenance process without work permit. You start from the notification. There can be a work request here or a breakdown, or it can be from the maintenance plan where the work order will be generated. Then we go to the planning of the job, then scheduling of the job, and then to the execution at site. And once the execution is done, the order is completed. So now, here, this is an example of a maintenance process with work permit management. This is an oil and gas example, but if you are in utility, there is another process which is different. So here, let's start for this example to see. Here, we start from this decision box where the work permit is required. And you can see here on the left, there are 4 phases: the planning and approval of work permit, the execution of operation and safety precautions, the execution of the job, and the completion of the work permit and reinstatement. So The first thing that happened after this decision box is that the maintenance planner is creating a work permit and maybe prepare a safe job analysis if needed. In that way, at that time, there is here an indicator in WCM which shows that it is not yet safe. And usually this application is done one day before 1 o'clock p.m. Once the application is done, the area supervisor is reviewing the work permit, maybe change the safety requirements and create lockout tagout, review the job safety analysis, and when he is happy with the content, he says, okay, I'm happy now, I approve the work permit. Then the permit is going to the health and safety environment function, which will verify the work permit and make sure that everything is fine inside. He may also change something if needed. And finally, the SAG function issue the approval to the work permit. So the next step is at 5 o'clock, usually 5 o'clock. There is a work permit coordination meeting, which is carried out. And at that time, the senior manager is conducting this session and coordinate if there is any inconsistency, if there are some parallel work on the same equipment, and to check that everything is fine. And finally, when he is happy, the work permit is set approved by the senior manager. So at that time, we have this yellow traffic light, which means the final approval is given. Means all the approval which is required for the execution are issued. The next type is the, so now here we are at 5 o'clock the day before, and usually during the night and the night shift before the morning is printing the work permit and preparing the safety documents so that the area technician, when he came in at 7 o'clock, he can start the implementation of safety precautions. Once that is done, the maintenance skilled worker is implementing his safety precautions, and then if there was a job safety analysis, then they together review the job safety analysis and carry out the toolbox talk. So finally, when that is done, here, if there is any isolation of safety system, the CCR technician will carry out this action. And finally here, once let's say all safety precautions is put in place, the work permit is activated by the CCR technician, and the work permit is handed out. And here you can see the traffic light becomes green now. That means the maintenance skilled worker can start the job. He has his work permit, and when the job is finished, he cleared the work site. Now, there is another question. How about the work permit? If the work permit needs an extension, then we go to the request of extension. If it does not need any extension, then the permit is cleared by the area technician and handed back with signatures, so that after that the CCR technician is closing the work permit. And only after the closure of the work permit in the system, so you can see here that when it's closed, it's become red. That means it's not safe anymore. After the closure of the work permit, the area technician can start the removal of all safety precautions and reinstate the system. Here, if there is any isolation, disconnection of safety system, then the CCR is reactivating the safety system. Then we come back to the order completion. So this is the typical maintenance process with SAP Work Permit Management. We will see a detail of this during the demo. So now I'm giving the part to Mark, which will present you the 6 key functions of Work Permit Management. Mark?
Thank you, James. So let's go to the key functions, key features that Work Permit Management has to offer us in SAP. Also in the live demo, all these functions will come back, so you can see them live in action. Okay, let's go to number 1. That's the architecture, or how the way that Work Permit Management is managed within SAP. We have 3 SAP objects involved. First is the work order, second the work permit, and third we have safety certificates. If you look at the work order first, people involved are working party, or let's say technicians, planners, people like that. Purpose of the work order within this work permit management system is identify a job with potential hazards and make sure that the permit handout is executed. Looking at the work permit, work permits are well, meant for the operating party, or the process operators that work within the plant. The working party is also involved, and of course parties like health, safety, environment department is involved. Purpose of the work permit, it's to define the scope of work. You can record safety requirements, you can use the approval system, and at the end you have a permission to execute the actual work, to execute the job. Then the safety certificates, the purpose of those are for the actual operation. You store your safety precautions, you have your approvals in there, and in the end you confirm that you have done everything you needed to do regarding those certificates. Here's some practical examples for the usage and the types. I will skip those because we have to look at the time, so everybody will be able to download the presentation and look at them themselves. This is how it will look in SAP. Here you see in one screen that you have your work order, you have the related work permit, and you have the related safety certificate. Also see that in the demo. Feature number 2, that's how you link the work order and the work permit. There are 2 options available. One is that you assign it at a header level, so mainly you have a one-to-one relation, or you assign it in option 2, you can assign it to a specific task within your work order. So not all tasks, but you specify the tasks that you need. Here once more an example how it will look in SAP. So when you have a header level, you obviously only see the orders, and of course when you can assign a task level, you can choose which operation you want to create a work permit for. Okay, some more examples, you can look back. Okay, then the next one is the linkage of work permits and safety certificates. This is possible to do it with a many-to-many relation, but as you see, let's say in the first example, you can also do it, of course, by a one-to-one, typically done for corrective work, so each permit has its own single isolation. The second one is that you have multiple work permits and only one safety certificate. Looking at the utility sector, this is the way you would use permits for outages. And the last example is that you have one permit with multiple certificates. For instance, you have, if you look at the metal industry, you have electrical certificate for the isolation, but you also have a separate certificate for the mechanical isolation. Okay, number 4, the core of the work permit. Within the work permit there are 7 important features. First, defining the scope of work, what needs to be done, when do we need to do it, where is it done, and who's doing it. Second one is to identify the safety requirements, and if required you can also attach documents. The third one is for the coordination of the approval issuances. 4 is to show safety and phase indicators for the progress monitoring of the process. 5, coordinate safety precautions, work execution and do the actual reinstatement. 6 is control authorization, so who can do what. And 7 is to log all actions related to this work permit management system within SAP. What was done by whom and when did they do it. Okay, number 1, define scope of work. What? So when you need to log the work that you need to do, you have of course, like a lot of things in SAP, you have a short text available and you have long text available where you can put in your information. But also for work permits management you have predefined work types. So you have checkboxes available that you can use to define the work that needs to be done. When is it done? That has to do with the validity of the work permit. You can set the standard validity. When does the work the work start, and when is it end? Like James already mentioned, it is possible to put in an extension there as well, so that when the validity time is not valid anymore, you can use extensions and then you can determine how many hours you can extend and how many times you can extend for that many hours. So here you have an example. So let's say on level 1 it's valid for 12 hours and we are only allowed to extend it once by 4 hours. Where is the work done? For that we can use, of course, the asset hierarchy that SAP already has within planned maintenance. So the work permit also uses the functional location or the equipment, and that is coming from the work order to which the work permit is assigned. Of course, you can always overrule it and put in a different value. Who is going to do it? Yeah, for this you have the standard partner determination available in SAP, so you can define your own partner roles and put in the partners that you need. So practical examples, you have a permit hold, you can see who issued the permit, and you can also see who cleared the permit. Okay, next part of the core is to identify the safety requirements and possibility to attach documents. So here you see within work permit management you have a screen available on which you can use all kinds of checkboxes to identify which safety requirements are needed. And every checkbox that you see there has a possibility to trigger an approval issuance in the background. Okay, another thing that you have to identify safety requirements is the use of the standard SAP catalog. So you have code groups and you have your codes, and then you can use single or multiple selections to identify in this case, personal equipment that you need when you are going to do the job. And the last part of this is that you can, like you also can do in a normal maintenance order, you have a possibility to attach SAP document management system documents to that specific work permit. Or also, like you have in an order, you can create direct attachments. The coordinate approval issuances. Let's see. You can issue or revoke an approval. There's authorization control behind, so that not everybody can issue the approval. In the background also tracking is active, so what was approved, who was approving that, sorry, and when was it approved. You can also build in a hierarchy. Permit usage can control if or not you need it, and in the background it's always possible to activate the standard SAP workflow. Okay, then you have in work permit management there's a transaction available which shows you in a very good way the phase where you are within your work permit management system process. So with traffic lights you will be able to see if it's safe or it is not yet safe or safe to execute a job, and all kinds of standard icons are available to use in that monitoring transaction. Number 5, coordinate safety precaution, work execution restatement. So also James pointed out to this. First you have your planning and approval of your work permit, then operation and safety precautions are put into place when everything is safe, locked out, tagged out, things like that. Someone can safely start on the execution of the actual job in your work order, and when he's finished, the work permit is completed, handed back, and after the precautions are removed again, the system can be reinstated. Control the authorization, so who can do what. There are all kinds of checks that you that SAP put into place. You can do a check on the plant level, you can do a check on the specific permit usage, you can check the activity, so you can only create a work permit, or you're only allowed to change it, or only allowed to display it. There's a check at the execution of the function, so what type of function do you want to do within your work permit, so someone can be allowed to print a work permit or not. There's a check at the issuance of approvals that we have seen before, and there's also checks at the setting of specific statuses within the process, or removing those statuses in the process. Last one is the log actions, so what was done by whom and when. Like in SAP, you already know that you can see who created it, who changed it, who did a specific approval, who revoked the approval, what field was modified by whom, and what was the old value, what is the new value. So everything is stored in the database, so everything can be read back, so people will know who did what at what time. Feature number 5, that's the reuse of safety templates. So with those you have you can create templates in SAP that you can reuse. With this you can store the best work permit, safe operation know-how, so that you create your own safety library. Those templates are prepared by skilled operational people. especially for preventive maintenance, it's really good to have templates in place so that the system can automatically create certificates for you. You can generate it with optimization. So when you generate it, you can always change. It can be reused during day-to-day operations. Validation can be enabled so that only validated templates can be used in the process. And the last one is that it is within compliance with all kinds of OHSA standards. Okay, back to James then for the live demo.
Thank you, Mark. So now we are going to see a live demo in SAP. This is the step we are going to see. So here I come back to the slide which we have seen before, and we will start from this spot. So here, let's go to an SAP. What I'm going to do now is I'm doing this step from here directly. I will create a work order and release it so that we are in this step. Okay, so for the one who is already in SAP, I do a IW31. Now I'm gonna select my equipment to repair. So this is a typical, let's say, platform hierarchy, asset hierarchy. So here I have my well platform, my processing platform, and in the processing platform, I'm gonna take here a booster pump. So this is the equipment I have to work on. So this is a pump. Okay. So this is now my work order. So here we are using a simplified view of the work order. You don't have all this kind of tab which are more complex, but here it's a very light work order. So here I say repair pump. For that one, I need to replace spare part. I need to do some welding, and let's say 1 hour. Okay, so now what I am doing now is just change my screen a little bit because I don't see it. Up. Yeah. Okay, so now, okay, here I'm going to activate manually WCM, but it can be from the hierarchy itself. So I put a permit which is WCM, which can come from the hierarchy itself. Here I do it manually. So here we have this WCM means you need a work permit for that work, and you have this button work permit which appear here. Okay, so now I'm releasing my work order. So all these parts are maintenance tasks. So they are doing this activity in SAP. Now I'm going to save my work order. Fine. Now I'm going to change my work order, and I come back to my slide. Here, what I'm going to do now is I am a maintenance planner, and I'm going to apply for a work permit. Okay, so here, this is my work order. And from the work order, here is my button to create a work permit. So I'm going there. And here we can have, this is the assignment of work permit work order. So here we can have several work permit, of course. That's why it appears like a list here. So here now, I'm creating my work permit, and here we have two kind of work permits. The work permit level 1 for the critical work, and the work permit level 2. So here I'm choosing the work permit level 1 because I have a critical work, which is the welding. So this is the screen of work permit in SAP. So this is how we configure it, but it is you can configure it in another way. Here, this is how it is coming from the best practice. So first of all, is this first tab is this is the scope of work. You can see here, you can put the detail of the repair of the pump, or the detail of the work to be done. You have here the checkbox for the critical work. So here I choose let's say hot work B, because then here is the functional location, which is your asset hierarchy. Here we can set also this value, which is the zone classification of area, which is related to hot work. So here I put the that the booster pump is within an unclassified area. That's why I use a hot work B. Below we have the responsibility, who is planning the job, who is the work center responsible of a job, and here you can say put who is going to hold the permit. So just say, okay, here Craig. Now sorry, up Craig. Okay, so this I have to scroll down here because this is a laptop, but if you have a computer in a desktop, which is have a big screen, you don't have to do that kind of scrolling. Okay. Next is here we have a second tab, okay, where you can attach document, and here is some information related to the location of the asset. You can see here this traffic light. This is a traffic light Mark is talking. So here we are not safe. And this is the phase, the icon phase Mark is talking as well. This is the status of the work permit, and these are the validity date. So usually when you prepare work permit, you prepare it one day before. That's why it's for tomorrow. So we keep it for the demo, we keep it like this. We will not change. And here you have the other requirements like job safety analysis, or if you need a requirement, an approval from the electrical department. Here is night work, ongoing work, and these are the requirements, safety requirements that has to be performed by the area technician. So here, to make the demo simple, we will just need to have a valve and vent list, which is a Lockout Tagout. Here you also can tick off the safety precaution that must be carried out by the skilled worker. Okay, so now I come down. Now we can see here that here is a screen of approval. Here you just see 3 values, but when we set the document to prepared, means everything is fine, you will see that there will come the process, let's say the approval process is here, so you will see all the approval that has to be followed. And the last one is here, the operation and safety precaution. So you can have this list of safety precautions. Here, this is a work clearance document or a certificate, and here operation can give some remark, or maintenance can give some remark. Okay, so let's go on. So I come back to my process. I am creating a work permit, put what I need, and then when I am finished with the content, I put a user status here. Okay, I'm ready. I am waiting for the review of the area supervisor. Okay, so I'm finished with my work permit creation, and I just save the work permit and save the work order. Okay, now, so this is my work permit. It's created now. Now I'm gonna use I change now. Here, I become the area supervisor. So what I'm gonna do is I am selecting the permit to be reviewed, and then I will approve it. Okay, so here I am going to use this standard transaction, which is the list of work permit, and here you can set up a different layout regarding depending on the role of the people. So here I am as area supervisor, so I select this layout. This is my layout as area supervisor, and there are some default filter behind this layout. Then this is the list of work orders. So here I can put some value if you want. Now I have my work order with work permit. So all this part up to here, the left part is the work order and the right part is the work permit. Okay, so this is the work order, the job, the work order number, type, where the job is located, the responsibility, basic start date, and all these things. And at the right side, we have here the permit number, the approval, the phase, the status, the validity date. Okay. Now, as area supervisor, I'm going to check what is inside my work permit, the work permit which was submitted by maintenance. So I check. I say, okay, I'm fine with the content. Okay, so we can go on this work permit, and I'm going to set it to prepared. Set to prepared means I freeze all the data because I'm going to sign it. So now it's, if we're gonna come back there, you can see that everything is locked now. Then I can start to sign here. Now after this preparation, you can see here that all the steps of the approval is coming. So you will have the area supervisor that should give approval, the health and safety environment approval, the platform manager approval. Then the area technician must do something, which is here. We have seen this just above here. You have to do a valve and bleed list lotto. Okay, so here as area supervisor, I'm going to create also a lockout tagout. So here I'm using the valve and blind list. So there are different usage, but here we are using the valve and blind list. Okay, and then I am coming to put some valve here. So this is the list of isolation points. So I'm going to select my isolation points from the hierarchy. So this is a place where my equipment is located. Okay, and next to that I have put here 2 valves for my pump. Okay, so I'm going to select those 2 valves, and then I'm just say here, okay, we need to close the valve for the isolation, and here the system is proposing you will open the valve after for the isolation. So now I am finished with my preparation of my valve and drain list, and then I save. So here, as area supervisor, I have verified the work permit. I have created the safety precautions, which is here. You can see here, this is a valve and blind list. Okay, and then now I give my approval. So here to give approval, just okay, select here, and I approve. So you can see this. You have this yellow green flag with my name and the date and time of the issuance of the approval. So now I am finished, and I save. So what's happened? Oh, I don't have it in my list anymore. Oh, that's good. So next step, I become now the SHG function. So I come back here and I use the layout for this SHG function. Okay, up, I just select. So this can be different people in in the future, and each people will have his own layout. So here I am a health and safety environment function. Now I verify the content of the permit. Everything is fine. I issue the approval. Okay, that's good. And here you can see I don't see anymore the approval. The document is now going to the other guys, and this other guy is the senior manager. Here I come back again. As senior manager, I run my transaction, same transaction, but I have my own layout. Then here, senior manager, when I select now, oh, I see it in my list. This is something I have to do. Okay. So for the senior manager, we will have a lot of lists here because this is a meeting coordination. So here for the demo, you will have one line, but you can have a lot of lists here for the senior manager, which are the work permit that will take place tomorrow. Okay, so from that, you can filter what is the work which is will be done in the same place, and here you can check in the permit. Okay, this is the permit, and then during the meeting, the decision come up is to say, okay, we approve as a platform manager, I approve this work permit. So here, same. Now, let's disappear from the list. Each time each work permit is approved, then it is not part of the list anymore. Now, what's the next step? Next step is we reach the 5 o'clock p.m. So during the night, the night shift of operation is preparing the work of the morning, so they can during the night print the work permit and print the safety documents, which is the isolation list. So from here, just come back. Okay, I am the area technician. Okay, area technician, and right up. I still have my selection screen. Now this is coming in my list because I have to do something there, and what I have to do is I need to print the work permit. So you have seen here what happens after the manager approval. The traffic light now becomes yellow, and here we have this kind of approval phase. So you can print the work permit in mass, print work permit. Okay, when you do a project, you can skip this kind of screen. Okay, you define your default permit and you can skip this kind of screen, but here we are using a standard program so that we can see we have this kind of pop-up. Okay, so I print my work permit. So all the work permit, you can print it in mass. Okay, and here from here, and I can also from here go to print. So this is the work order, the permit, and the certificate. So here I'm going to print my isolation list. So here I can see here this will be done by the night shift. Okay, they can say, okay, we are going to start the tag. We print the isolation tag. So again, you will not have this in a real life. You don't have this kind of pop-up which is coming up. And then we print also the tagging list, which is the isolation list. Same up, no pop-up in the real life. This is just for the demo. So now, as area technician of a night shift, I have printed all this document, and in the morning, the area technician, which is coming on the morning at 7 o'clock, he starts to implement the safety precautions. So when he finished to implement the safety precautions, he can come on the screen. He can also download it to mobile. So there is a way to do that through mobile WCM. He can download the list, these two actions to WCM, and then use WCM to do the same action that I'm going to do now. So he's going to say, okay, I finished the isolation, so now all the isolation point is tagged. That means you can see here the certificate becomes now yellow. And if I come back to my list now, I don't see anymore this the work permit in my list. So the next step would be the maintenance worker is doing the toolbox task jointly with the area technician. Okay. Toolbox talk, toolbox talk. So you have just 50 minutes. You have to talk about safety, about the preparation of the work, what kind of safety precautions you have to take care of, and all these things. So now I am the skilled worker. Okay. So as skilled worker, I have the permit in my list now. Let's say from here, I know this is the permit is a number. So this is another way to issue approval as well. So here I just click here. The system is opening the screen, and from here I can issue my. I say, okay, the toolbox task has been carried out. And the permit is not in my screen anymore. Okay, next step is the CCR technician. So from the control room, the work permit is going to be activated, and the permit will be handed out. Okay, so now I am a CCR technician. Up, CCR technician. When I run my selection, I see the permit in my list. This one is the permit we are processing. So here you see work permit is present. You have this small icon which shows the process. Now, as a control room technician, from here I said, okay, all the work is clear. I can activate the permit. And you see, now the traffic light becomes yellow, green, excuse me. So now we don't see anymore it is the permit, because what is the task is outside. Usually this is the responsibility of the area technician to issue the paper to the guy. So here I am an area technician again, and then as area technician I issue the work permit. So physically what happens? Here we have already printed the permit, but we don't have yet issue it to the guy. So here from here, he can from here, okay, I hand out the work permit. You can see a system status means you have physically hand out the permit to the guy, and there is a status. So here, yes, you can have this status now, work permit handed out, WPHO. So just see here, work permit handed out. Okay, so now what happens? Why this does not disappear? Because this is an ongoing work, and I am as area technician, I have to follow all the ongoing work. So here in the process we have here, we go, let's say here the job is executed, and then at the completion of the job we go to this way, and here the site clearance is checked by the area technician, and the permit is given back with signatures. So in the system, how is it carried out? So here, or he can do it from the screen as well. From here, you can select, and I will return the work permit. Usually, it is done by barcode. So you can barcode on the work permit, and then you confirm. But here we will do it manually. So I return physically the permit to the. I collect as area technician. I collect the work, the physical work permit from the maintenance. So here I can say, okay, return work permit. Okay. So that it does not appear anymore in my list. Then what is the next step is, the CCR technician is giving the final clearance. That means he is going to come back again as area technician. Area technician, CCR technician, control room technician. So as control room technician, I am the I have the only me have the authority to clear the permit. So here the permit is returned. So you have the status here, work permit returned. Okay, and this permit is now shown in the to-do list of the area technician. So from here, he can check. Okay, now, or I can do it from this from inside as well. Everything is cleared. So from here, I close the permit. Okay, but here usually I can do it as well from the list. Okay, I can do it from this list by function close. So you can close a lot in mass different work permit. So now what happens when the permit is closed? Now nobody is anymore at site. Means the maintenance worker leave the site so that the system can be reinstated and all the safety precautions can be removed. So in our example, we will have to do a de-isolation of the valve and blind list. Okay, so what is the next transaction is now, because the permit is closed, so no need anymore to go to the permit level, but let's go to the list of certificates. So this is the list transaction of certificates. So from here I have a lot of criteria, but here I say the way I want to see only certificates, valve and blind lists that have these two status. Okay, so I'm going to see only valve and blind list that I need to de-isolate. Okay, so this is my list of action to do. Okay, I am an area technician, so from here I can print my. I say, okay, I'm going to untag. What happens is untag means the system will check if there is any, of the same valve used by different work. So you have to do more things here to adapt that you are not going to operate the valve. If there is two parallel work, you can just say, okay, I'm going to pick my tag, to take my tag only, but I'm not going to change the to do the operation. So here we are alone on the valve, so we will remove those tags here. This is the two tags that we have to remove. And here I print my untagging list. So once again, this can be done through mobile. Okay. So I'm going to the site now as a area technician. I'm up to the operation and reinstate everything, and then I come back to the system, or from the mobile, I say untagged. So that is finished now, and here I close my certificate. So here now, finally, if we look on the system now, what happens finally? We have, this is our work order, okay? And if I make a hierarchy view, I see that this is the work order, this is the permit which is closed, and this is the safety certificate which is closed. Now, what are the benefits of SAP WPM? So there are multiple benefits. The first is to comply entirely with your company safety procedures. What does it mean? The process of work permit that was agreed by business people during the design phase will be tailored into SAP WPM. Therefore, the solution will comply entirely with your company safety procedures. You will be assisted by the system and driven by the system, so this permits to avoid any violation of rules. You have a segregation of roles, so the approvals can be done only by the right person, and you have seen that there is a sequence, a predefined sequence. You cannot overrule that. You have to follow that sequence because that is the safety procedures of a company. Reduce manual input. You have seen that when I create from the work order permit, some data is already coming, so no need to input the, do some manual input. You have to do only what you have to do. You don't have to do what is already proposed by the system. High visibility of work in progress. You have seen that there is a traffic light, there is an icon face, there is a status, so you can check what is ongoing on this. What are the ongoing work on the same equipment? You have the equipment as a column, so you can see what are the all ongoing work on the same equipment. Better communication. You have seen that the document is coming from one to another person, so you don't have to bring the document anymore manually if you are using WCM, because the system is doing that at your, in your place. Bring common industry practice to improve your process. When SAP is developing work permit management, they only take all the best practice from the industry. All the let's say specific things is not taken by SAP. So as a new customer, for example, if you are going to take WPM, then you get all these benefits from all these industry practices. Comprehensive audit trial, as said by Mark. Unfortunately, we can't see it in the demo because we don't have enough time, but all the action, when I click, when I put value, when I'm doing an action in the system, it's controlled by the system. And there is a time and date which is recorded by the system, so we can do an audit. Increase productivity, reduce human errors by using safety templates. In this demo, we don't show the use of safety templates, but you have seen that I created manually the valve and blind list. Okay, I take the isolation point from the hierarchy, asset hierarchy, but you can, of course, use a predefined safety template. Then you can just say, okay, this is the template I'm using when I'm doing work at this place, and I have to use this valve and isolation valve and blind list template. So you can use that quickly than the one I have done on the screen. So this is a very, and the advantage of that is that this kind of safety template is built by skilled operations, so they are more safe. Improve safety performance by proper planning, approval, execution. You have seen that I can't overrule the safety procedures. I have to follow what has been done and what has been designed in the system. So this is a good and a great solution to have performance improvement. Okay, now we are in the question part. Okay, so
all right, so the first question there, James, is can a permit be set up to require certain precautions based on the permit type or hazards presented?
Can you say it again?
Yep. Can the permit be set up to require certain precautions based on the permit type or hazards presented?
Yes, you can do that. So from the permit type, you can default the requirements. That is possible.
Okay. The next question is, can an approval be granted using a digital signature?
Of course. This is part of WCM itself, so you can have, when I'm issuing approval, I can have a card, and I can use my card for the approval. But we have to connect the card, the card reader, with another system for the digital signature. We need a digital signature system to be connected to SAP, and you can do that.
Great. Let's see here. The next question that comes in, what happens if the permit is rejected at one stage?
what happens if the permit is rejected? Rejected first means you don't need the permit, you put it in the rubbish. Rejected means you put it in the rubbish, and if you want to create a new one, you can use the rejected permit to create a new one. Therefore, you don't need to write again the information. There is one click. So you have a work order with one work permit which is rejected, and then if you want to create a new permit, then you can just select the line and just create a copy, and then you have a new permit which contains the same information as the rejected permit, so you can change you just do few change.
Okay, great. And the next question, is there any mobile apps for WPM?
Oh, that's a good question. I just have this December something, so I just quickly gonna show you this kind of thing. We have quickly, very quickly. We have received information regarding WPM mobile. So this is just a news from we received from Christoph Huber, WCM IT Waldorf. So the WPM is in the roadmap of SAP. There is two parts. Okay, two parts. The first is the WCM Lockout Tagout. So you will be happy, it will be shipped on QA 2016. There is another part, the second part is the WCM approvals and some other functions, but up to now we don't have this information. Here, this is the features of the WPM, is to have an electronic isolation list and isolation list, to have a barcode scanner, to have a list view where you can filter and sort. You can have a single screen view. You can do a confirmation to say, okay, I've done the action, or I can't. The action cannot be done or complete, and you can search isolation points. So this is the screen from SAP. Okay, this is the WPM where you can log on. You can activate a passcode or not. Here is the list view, so you can on the left see a list of work clearance document or certificates, and here you can see the list of items, so isolation points per isolation points. Here is the list view with action, so here you can say select all, and here complete, confirm, or reject. Okay, and here is a single screen. This is the item, this is the switching items, isolation points with the action, with the tag number, and here you can also confirm, complete, or reject. This is one of safe things which is coming from the mobile. That means you have to verify if you are on the right place by using a barcode scanner. And of course, as a mobile, we have some filtering settings and all this kind of stuff for working with a list. Yeah.
Great.
Next question.
Next question. Would you be able to show what a work permit printout looks like?
I can't do that because each work permit is specific to each company. Usually in SAP, the work permit is, you have only all the information there, okay, but it's not on the layout you want to see. The work permit, the document, the printing is always done as a specific by the company because it has to be adapted. But of course, if you are talking about oil and gas, we know what is the work permit level 1, we know what is the work permit level 2, we know what is the standard layout of that, and that is completely possible to print the same from SAP.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next question.
The next one is there an easy way to set these approvals up in a workflow? Plans to provide a standard type workflow in support of an approval workflow, say to maybe an email account?
Yes, you can set up a workflow. I don't show it in the presentation because you have to do some extra setup to get that, but you can have a workflow with a work item like in standard SAP. That is possible, and that is a configuration in the system itself. So in addition to the way I show it, you can have a workflow with an email, with a work item.
Awesome.
Yes, next.
The next one would be, can we mass approve?
If you have SAP, ECC6, EHP7, Service Pack 8, yes. If you are below that, no.
All right, great.
You can in EHP, what happens in fact, in EHP7 Service Pack 8, SAP is providing an API, application programming interface, in which you can connect to the list transaction of WCM and say you build up a mass approval. That is possible, but only EHP7 Super Pack 8.
Great.
Yeah, next question.
And I have one last question here, and then we're going to have to end. And if anyone else has any questions, they can contact James or Mark directly, and we'll post their contact information up for you. Can you add attachments, safety data sheet, for example, that will then be printed by SAP?
Can you say it again?
Yep, no problem. Can you add attachments such as a safety data sheet, for example, that will then be printed by SAP?
Yes, you can attach, and SAP can print it.
Awesome. All right, so that concludes our webinar. Our contact information is right here. You can contact Silvio, and we can also send a follow-up email with James and Mark's direct information for you guys as well, too. Thank you guys so much for coming out and joining our webinar today. Any last words, James?
Thank you for attendance, and have a nice weekend.
Thanks, James.
Bye-bye. Thank you.